raise awareness in opposition to books being banned across the country. It took place today at Shattuck Park in Neenah, where many people gathered to read books which have been banned by different entities. Organizers say the banned book read is to demonstrate to what they say opinion polls have shown. The majority of Americans support the freedom to read. A bill has been proposed by multiple Wisconsin state senators that would prohibit some reading materials in libraries and schools. The bill would also make it possible to prosecute teachers who would make those books available.
Books have always been a really important thing in my life and in my teaching. And when I saw the books that they were trying to ban for reasons that are beyond understanding, I just wanted to do something.
Some people participated from afar for this read-in, posting to Facebook to the banned book read-in with pictures of banned books that they are reading right now. Environmental agents